Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Wherever you're storing food and supplies, you need to check on them periodically and make sure your things are still safe and ready to use. Store your supplies in a cool, dry place away from sunlight, but that may not always be enough. Sometimes you need to make sure that somehow they haven't been penetrated by water. Have any of your containers been damaged? Do any of your canned goods look like they're bulging or leaking? What about your dry goods? Did the things that were supposed to remain dry get wet anyway? Heat and moisture are enemies to your food storage, so you want to go through carefully all the time. Make sure that your containers are safe. Make sure that your food supplies are still good. Make sure that you're rotating so your food supplies are fresh and ready to eat. Store things that you actually eat and then rotate them through your food menu plans. Use the things that you have. There's no sense storing foods that you are unfamiliar with or don't know how to prepare. You may find out you don't even enjoy them and it's not something you want to eat on an everyday basis or in an emergency. My bunker food storage area is damp, so I try to keep things stored inside extra plastic containers. But you have to check then to make sure that nothing has been compromised. The last few years I've had some mold looking thing growing along the shelf and onto the buckets, but luckily the buckets are not harmed. It's just something that's growing on them and can be cleaned away. That's why you need to make sure that you're using food grade, heavy duty, and the best containers that you can afford. Store what you can now in containers that you have, but then as you rotate things, upgrade to better storage containers. Maybe get dry food that's already packed into a number 10 can. Put things away in Mylar and then into buckets. Use glass canning jars as you find them. And whatever you do, make sure that you're storing all of the water that you possibly can fit in the space that you have. Make sure you haven't been infested with any little critters. Here's a vole that has gotten in here and he's died. Luckily, he didn't damage anything. I've also been opening up things at my granny camp and inspecting them. I had voles get into one of my containers here also. They chewed up paper towels, and I don't know what happened over here, but there's a part of one that's left here. It doesn't look like he had a very good winter. Make sure to inspect your dried paper products, blankets, and all of your kinds of gear. You never know what could have gotten into the things that you're storing. Try these things before you store them and then make them a part of your everyday plan. Rotate them through a little at a time, keep things up to date and fresh so that you'll have the things you need no matter what comes your way. There's no sense prepping if you don't keep track of your supplies and make sure that they're still useful to you in the time when you need them most. Learn more at alaskagranny.com. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.